Hello. I thought we're just see like I'm trying to work with your number thing. As they say at the beginning of the self help books I read. Let's get started. Um I mean just it's like talking to a tape recorder. Um there was this interview today um with the Syrian president, but it was on in the middle of the day. And you know, you imagine people like getting home from work or like anyone and would see it like they I don't even if they aired the whole thing, but they probably won't, And they talk so fast on the news. Um, you sort of have to be home like all day, but you're just what was interesting. I'm just talking out my ideas about what I heard because it's important. It's so awful to see the pictures like of those people gassed. I mean, and convulsing like that and everything. Um, then again, it's also frightening. We're like planning a military intervention of a country. Those things like scare me. Um, but like I thought it'd be of service to like be able to just I'm home to watch the whole thing with like nothing else to do. I just thought I'd say what I noticed at first. It would be helpful. Because what I noticed, it's interesting that it won't be on the news in some way, because it's for some reason like the things that are interesting or that make you say, well, wait, is it? What does that tell us? But it's like buried. It's not in the content of the questions or the answers. It's sort of buried in it, but like buried in the subtext in it or something. But then on top of it, you're like, wait, is that true? I mean, it's just so when something so frightening on all sides, you just think I should pay attention. Okay, this is the thing. I mean, it's easy because you're right. I mean, you don't know if people are lying or not. But like, that guy, the Assad said, like, in see the thing is what he said, but it was buried in one thing he said. On top of which he has an accent, so it's like hard to hear. But it okay. He said that this is what he implied. Okay, but what I wouldn't a person like me or someone else wouldn't know much about was that 10 years ago. This is what was buried, but it was so buried, and even what he said, it was buried. It wasn't like he tried to make a point of it. It was just like in there, like, oh wait, because none of us know recent history that much. That 10 years ago, supposedly he's saying that he had wanted his country. This is what he said. I don't know. This is what he said in one sentence that was, if you heard it, it goes by real fast. What he was saying essentially is that 10 years ago, when he was a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, non-permanent member, he had offered, make a long story short, it sounded like he was saying that 10 years ago he had offered that he wanted his country to be a chemical weapons free zone and that he'd destroy all his chemical weapons if he could become a permanent member of the UN Security Council. That's actually what he said, but he like buried it in his own thing he said. Is that true? But like, would you want a person like that in the permanent member of the Security Council? I don't know. But he also, here's the other thing. There was a CNN like biography on him that said that like he had come to power in a country like that he was like modernist and he wasn't going to be a dictator like his dad or something, and that for some reason the way it said it was like he became an authoritarian dictator but didn't tell you why or something, or if it was even true that he was like some kind of modernist, like he wanted democracy, or if that was true. But that said that in this little documentary CNN did about him, like maybe like 2 weeks ago. But see, okay, so based on like the subtext, what he said, the indication would be that he like wanted his country to be this chemical weapons free zone, that would it be a democracy if he could be, but he wanted to be his country to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council. I don't know if a country like Syria can like make demands like that when we've outlawed chemical weapons, like with the Geneva Conventions. Like, can you even like is that sane or anything? Like, yeah, I got chemical weapons, I'll use them, but but I'll destroy them all and make it a chemical weapons free zone if I can be a permanent member of the UN Security Council. Like, there's a country like that. Can they do that, or is that cool? No, but it's not because he had chemical weapons in the first place. But it's what gets me is just the fact that you gotta be paying such close attention and catching in what he's saying, and then wonder about it, thinking about that CNN bio that was back to weeks ago. But you just wonder if other people are catching all that and what the answer are, but also who to ask. So that was like the first thing I noticed at the beginning of the interview. I'm just taking notes for myself, but maybe this is helpful to someone.